What if I told you that the reason success is hard has nothing to do with how many hours you work, how talented you are, or how much you know, and everything to do with how you master your energy? Because to master your life, you must master your days. To master your days, you must master your time. And to master your time, you must master your energy. The problem is that most of us are treating energy as if it's infinite, when it's the most finite resource we carry into every single day. I wrote about this in my best-selling book, Energize, which you can read the first chapter of for free if you comment book in the comments below. I was working hard and giving everything I had, but I was exhausted and burnt out. I kept telling myself the answer was to push through harder. It wasn't. In fact, it never is. Energy is a resource, and like every resource, how you manage it determines what you are able to build with it. It is like a multiplier on everything you bring into your work and life. The same task, the same hour of effort, and the same conversation done from a full tank versus an empty one produces results that are worlds apart. That is what this video is about. I will share 3 powerful shifts to help you master your energy so that you are able to not only succeed, but thrive over the long term. And make sure to stay with me until the end, because the last one I want to share with you is the simplest one, and it is the shift that makes everything else possible. Number 1, work and rest are partners of the same team. In the 1950s, sleep researcher Nathaniel Kleitman, the same man who discovered REM sleep, made a second discovery that never received the same attention. He found that the brain doesn't just cycle through states at night, it cycles through them during the day too. Every 90 to 120 minutes, our minds naturally shift from a state of high alertness and focus capacity down into a quieter lower gear state that calls for rest. He called this the ultradian rhythm. The brain is designed to pulse in waves, to focus and then restore, to push and then recover. But notice what most of us do instead. We hit the afternoon dip, that moment around 2 or 3 in the afternoon when the thinking goes foggy and the motivation drops, and we reach for more coffee and other external stimulants to push through and keep going. What we've actually done is ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us. The highest performers I've studied understand how their energy fluctuates during the day, and then they build their schedules around that insight instead of always fighting it. Anders Ericsson, the researcher behind the famous 10,000 hours idea, studied elite violinists and discovered something fascinating. The best players in the world did not just practice more than the good ones, they also rested more, deliberately and on purpose, as a fixed part of their days and weeks. They slept around 8.5 hours a night and napped in the afternoons. They did not treat recovery as a break from the work, they treated it as part of the work. In sport, this is obvious. No serious coach would schedule back-to-back training without rest built in. Muscles do not grow during the workout, they grow during the recovery. Push without rest, and you do not get stronger. You simply break down. Even in Formula 1 racing, pit stops have to be taken because even the fastest car can't run forever. After a few laps, the tires are exhausted, so the driver enters a pit stop. With fresh tires on, the car then leaves, ready for the next lap. We know this for the body, but we act like it doesn't also apply to the mind. We need deliberate breaks to maintain performance and avoid mental exhaustion. Deliberate rest beats continual effort. Thomas Edison fished for an hour every day beside a lake near his lab. He never caught a single fish, and when someone asked why, he simply said, "Because I didn't use bait." So no one, not even the fish, would disturb him. You see, he wasn't there to fish. He was there to think, rest, and let his mind wander into the spaces where ideas show up. He knew that some of the best thinking happens when you step away from the desk, not when you are chained to it. Work and rest are partners of the same team. Without periods of intentional rest, you become less productive. The quality of your decisions get worse, your creativity is suffocated, and your relationships suffer. And success starts to feel not just hard, but completely out of reach. My daughter once said something I've never forgotten. I asked her one evening what her favorite activity was, expecting her to say time with her friends in the playground or something fun we often do together. She said, "Spending time with you and Mum." People do not want your time. They want your energy and your presence, and you cannot give what you no longer have if all you do is work all the time. To slow down in a world that is only getting faster is a modern day superpower. So what does real rest look like for you? Not the passive kind, where the scrolling and binge watching of TV shows numbs you at the end of a long day, but the kind that actually fills you back up. The long walk that clears your head. The moments of stillness that helps give you perspective. The sleep you protect as carefully as the most important meeting in your calendar. When did you last build that in? Not as a reward for finishing, but as a part of how you work. Number 2, the invisible leaks killing your energy. Once you understand that your energy is finite and rhythmic, the next question becomes obvious. Where is it going? Most conversations about energy focus on how to generate more of it. Sleep better, exercise more, eat well. These things matter enormously, but they only tell half the story, because while you're trying to refill your tank, invisible forces are draining it in the background. The first leak is one most people have never heard of, but have felt every single day. In the 1920s, a young Soviet psychologist named Bluma Zygarnik was sitting in a cafe in Vienna when she noticed something peculiar. The waiters had an uncanny ability to hold an entire table's order in memory while the meal was still open. But the moment the bill was paid and the table cleared, the order vanished completely. She went back to the lab to run some experiments, and what she found was this: the human brain holds unfinished tasks in active memory, consuming cognitive resources until they are resolved. We call this the Zygarnik effect. Think about what this means for a typical day. Every decision you've been avoiding, every conversation you keep meaning to have, every commitment that lives in your head rather than on paper. Each one is drawing on your cognitive energy, whether you're consciously thinking about it or not. The open loops never really close. They just hum somewhere below the surface, slowly draining the focus you need for everything else. And the fix for this is not complicated. Write down what needs to be done, then make a decision and take action, or consciously let it go, because every loop you close is energy returned back to you. But there is a second leak, and in my experience, it is even more costly. Roy Baumeister at Florida State University spent years studying what depletes us most deeply, and his findings surprised a lot of people. The most psychologically draining activities are not the most cognitively demanding ones. They're the ones that require us to act against our values, to show up in ways that feel inauthentic to who we are. Energy follows meaning. So when you do work that is an extension of who you are and what you care about, you feel energized and excited about giving your all. When it isn't, everything, even the smallest of tasks, begin to feel like a chore. This is why the most important audit you can run is not a time audit, it is an energy audit. Pay attention not just to where your hours go, but to which activities leave you feeling more like yourself and which ones strip that away and leave you feeling exhausted. I have seen this in almost every high achiever I've worked with. Two people put in the same hours. One wakes up the next morning raring to go. The other wakes up feeling like they never slept. The difference is almost never the hours. It is whether the work was meaningful and felt aligned with who they are. I wrote in my book Energize that most of us are tired, not because we are doing too much, but because we are doing too little of what actually makes us feel alive and running someone else's race. You see, it is far better to be climbing slowly up the right mountain than to be climbing fast up the wrong one. So here's a question for you. Do you feel you are climbing a mountain that is truly yours or someone else's? Because that's where energy mastery begins. There is this quote that has stuck with me ever since I first heard it, which says, "We are all born as originals, but most of us die as copies of someone else." This leads me on to the final shift, which makes everything else possible. Number 3, live a better story. Over the course of a day, we have around 60,000 thoughts, many of which come and go so quickly that we're not even aware of them. Most people aren't even aware of the chatter going on inside their heads. While some thoughts are positive and empowering, how many are negative or block you from fulfilling your potential? According to an article published by the National Science Foundation, 80% of these thoughts tend to be negative, and 95% precisely the same repetitive thoughts that were experienced the day before. And if nearly all of your thoughts are the same as the day before, then your life is destined to be the same, because the same thoughts lead to the same choices and behaviors. This is why the most powerful dialogue is the one that happens within yourself every day, because what consumes your thinking influences who you become. Your thoughts don't just describe your life, they create it. You can have everything going right for you on the outside, but if your mind is filled with fear, self-doubt or comparison, it won't feel like enough. And you can be walking through challenge and uncertainty, but if your mind is grounded in gratitude, self-belief and possibility, you will still find peace. We experience life through the lens of what we believe. If you believe you're behind, you will rush. If you believe life is against you, you will find proof in every challenge. But the moment you start changing your thoughts, the world begins to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you do. When you believe something is possible, your brain filters the world differently. You notice opportunities you used to overlook. You act like someone who belongs in the life you want. And over time, your reality shifts to meet your level of self-trust. You see, energy follows belief. If your mind can't go there first, your body won't follow. Truth is, you don't always get what you wish for in life, but you almost always move in the direction of what you give your energy to. So you have a choice right now if you want to live a life of meaning. You can either do nothing and continue with how things are, hoping that life will get better, or you can do something about it and surprise yourself by demonstrating what's possible when you ignite that energetic life force inside you. If you choose the latter, then get ready for the greatest adventure of your life. It won't be easy, but when you look back and witness your life evolving in the most beautiful of ways, not only will it bring a sense of fulfillment, but that future self will be thankful for the decisions that you chose to make today. Life is meant to be lived, felt, and experienced. Don't miss your time while you still have an abundance of it. As Brianna Weiss writes in her book Ceremony, you fall in love with yourself when you start to take care of yourself. You fall in love with yourself when you stop thinking of self-love as an infatuation, but a homecoming. You fall in love with yourself when the child inside looks at the adult you are now and sees the ease of their own approval. You see, it is self-compassion, not self-criticism, that gives you the energy to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Living life at a higher frequency of energy doesn't mean that there's an absence of fear. It is the belief that you will be fine despite your fears. And the energy you project into the world is simply a mirror of the work you have done within yourself. We deal with our mind from the second we wake to the second we sleep. So being aware of how you speak to yourself is the first step in shifting your mind from being your worst enemy to your best friend. So here's the message I want to leave you with today. Energy is the most precious resource that you carry into every single day. The reason success can feel hard for so many capable, driven people has very little to do with the plan and everything to do with the energy they bring to it. When your energy goes toward work that generally makes you feel alive and brings you joy, the journey ahead becomes more enjoyable and you begin to attract opportunities and luck into your life. When you protect the hours, when your mind is at its sharpest, everything you do in that window helps you channel that energy toward creating and designing a fulfilling life. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue learning about how you can bring more energy and intention into the days, weeks, and months ahead, then I suggest watching this video next. And don't forget to comment book in the comments below to download the first chapter of my book Energize for free. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.